Hello, how are you? This is Millicent Henga, and I'm going to deal with this topic of security culture. And I know um, this is the year 2021, of which in the aviation industry we're talking about the year 2021, the year of security culture. And therefore, it's a year where we are all supposed to embrace change or inculcate positive security culture among ourselves, and majorly in the aviation industry. It is an year where we are supposed to see security as everyone's business and not for specific groups of persons. Because from the word, what security? I believe we've come across this several times, considering most of the states, it's like a requirement that you've got to go through security awareness, a national civil aviation security program requirement, that you've got to go through a security awareness before you attain your airport permit. And this is the avenue where you will be taken through what security is all about, because many times you'll work in the aviation industry, but you really don't understand what really security is. So security is safeguarding civil aviation against acts of unlawful interference. And this objective is attained by combining of measures, human and material resources. So why do we need to have combining of measures, human and material resources? I believe for you to be able to meet an objective, you've got to put all the components that is required for it. When we talk about the measures here, we talk about the procedures, the regulations, those requirements, documented requirements, legislations, protocols, conventions, airport security programs, national civil aviation security programs, ground handler security programs, catering operator security programs. When you're talking about human aspect, it's the human resource. Definitely, when you have the documents, you don't expect them to be implemented on their own, and therefore you need the human aspect. So what type of human aspect would you need? Yeah, that is going to help implement the contents of these various measures that you have in place. We equally have got material resources. Material resources here, we are talking about those equipments that are going to help in delivering the contents of these measures we've talked about. Because remember, these measures are going to tell us how we are going to safeguard the industry. Those things that when you put in place, you'll be able to safeguard the industry against acts of unlawful interference. We are all aware today the aviation industry is a prime target from all sorts of areas, from all sorts of threats. We have got the terrorists, we have got criminals, we have insiders, we have got domestic criminals or disgruntled employees, asylum seekers. We have numerous kind of threats in our environment, and it is just important that each state analyzes what type of threat is in their environment, because this may vary from states to states, from region to region, and therefore we'll always carry out a risk assessment, so that you're able to ascertain what type of risk you like to mitigate and the measures in place. So, what is a culture? This is a norm. This is a practice. This is our way of life. This is how we perceive doing certain things, or how we carry out ourselves in the aviation industry, of which this culture may vary from airport to airport, country to country, region to region. But the question is, aviators, is the culture you have a positive culture that is going to help us safeguard our lives as per the definition we just defined? It's you to analyze that. If it is not, then what are the mechanisms you have in place to be able to improve so that you can have a better security culture? As I said, security is everyone's business. I know many times we leave these responsibilities for the security agencies you have in place, either the police or the airport authority, or the third-party security firms, that's the contractor security firms, or the airline security, or these agency securities, and therefore they're the ones we usually believe are the ones in charge of that. That's okay. But how much can they do? Can they be everywhere you've been assigned work to do? No. Therefore, who is their eyes? Who is their ears? It is you. That's the essence of the awareness. That is the importance of going through that security awareness. And that is the importance of inculcating in ourselves security culture, positive security culture, not just security culture. And so, how do we evaluate if we have a positive security culture? Carry out your own assessment in your own airport or in any of your installations that is serving the aviation industry, because remember, the threat targets could be the airport, could be the CAA, it could be those outstations that are serving directly the airport, that's off-airport installations. It could be the navigational aids. It could be institutions that are inclined towards aviation operations, like the East Africa School of Aviation. And therefore, it is important that the staff of this airport, of these organizations, are fully aware of the threat in their environment, are fully aware of the measures that are being put in place, and they're fully aware on the actions they're supposed to take in case of suspicion or in case of real threat. The important thing is, your role is to pass that information to the relevant authority. The time you take to pass this information is critical. And therefore, security still remains everyone's business, because if you can protect yourself, then you can protect your environment and you can protect the aviation industry. Are we communicating, guys? It is high time we appreciate any security measure in your area of operations, in your tour of duty. When you get into any of these installations, ask yourself, have you submitted to security checks? Or why has somebody gone through without being either going through the protocols that have been put in place? Why is that person arguing about being requested to submit themselves to security checks? Security is everyone's responsibility when you want to safeguard your life. So guys, let's try and carry out constant risk assessment. Analyze the measures you have in place, the installations you have in your place. How easy is it to penetrate it? How easy is it to be able to pass an item from, let's say, the land side to the air side without going through the checks? Is it easy? Is it difficult? If it is difficult, then that is good. But it is easy, that's questionable. You need to check into, let's say, the type of training that you have, that has been given to your security personnel. You need to check on the measures in place. Are they effective enough to prevent persons accessing? So in short, carry out a risk assessment, vulnerability assessment. And this is not just the role of all the the security agencies only. It is each and everyone's responsibility, irrespective of the function you carry out at your airport. So guys, let's embrace security. Let us change our mindset. Let us develop a positive security culture so that we can drive business, because without business, without security, there is no business continuity. So the earlier we start seeing security as our own responsibility, the better we are. So try and raise the concerns you have in your environment to the relevant agencies, because even in awareness, you're given the information of the chains of command, those you're supposed to pass information to. But do not hold critical information. Don't go home from work with some critical information, because that information could be the deciding factor whether lives are going to be lost or are going to be saved. And therefore, positive security culture is all we require, and it is everyone's responsibility. Thank you.